Brazil has 12% of the fresh water in the world. It preserves 61% of its territory with native vegetation and uses less than 28% for agriculture and livestock production. There are 6 biomes in Brazil, distributed within 851 million hectares: the Amazon, the Caatinga, a type of xeric shrubland, the Brazilian savannas, called cerrado, the Atlantic forests, the lowland and grass areas of the south, called pampas, and the Pantanal, a vast area of wetlands. The Projeto Biomas began in 2010 as a result of the partnership between the Brazilian Confederation of Agriculture and Livestock, CNA, and the Brazilian Enterprise for Agriculture and Livestock Research, Embrapa. Its goal is to research the use of trees in the Brazilian rural regions, making this a resourceful practice to attend to the needs of environmental, economical, and social sustainability. By 2019, it will involve over 200 researchers from various Brazilian institutions. These professionals will further train more than 300 knowledge multipliers and local agents in order to disseminate the results of their researches to thousands of rural producers. The project's national coverage requires the organization of an intense management and articulation meetings agenda, including university partners, research centers, public and private institutions and companies, and rural producers. Here the goal is to diagnose the fragilities and potentialities of properties inserted within the landscape, defining the limits of areas of permanent preservation, legal reservations, and areas of alternative use. Since the project is being conducted in 6 biomes, in each of them a rural property and an area of native vegetation coverage will be evaluated. The goal is to establish empirically technologies that most respect the uniqueness of each landscape. What are permanent preservation areas? Brazilian legislation has established all strips along riverbanks, slopes, hilltops, and riverheads as permanent preservation areas. Their vegetation must be kept intact due to the importance of their environmental function. These areas help preserve water resources, landscape, ecological stability, biodiversity, the genetic flux of fauna and flora, and soil protection, maintaining the well-being of human populations. How is the management done? At permanent preservation areas, research will be conducted with the aim at increasing or re-establishing their ecological purpose, guaranteeing provision of the ideal environmental services. The research will be developed at rural properties and serve as technological storefronts for each of the biomes. From the results of research and tested samples, we will create adequate models to help the sustainable use of the land, respecting its potentialities and fragilities. This stage includes the transfer of all techniques and technologies to the knowledge multipliers, who will then train rural producers. It implies that the project will be replicated with technologies that are appropriate to the different contexts of each region. Brazil has a rich biodiversity, extensive forests, and preserves 61% of its territory. It produces food for Brazilians and several other nations. All this is possible because of our abundant water resources. To care for this precious asset is a constant concern. And what about your country and what it has done to guarantee the availability and quality of water? To restore and conserve the native vegetation of riverheads and banks in areas of subterranean aquifers was our choice. This is the Brazilian proposal for all those who are concerned with preservation of the environment and the reduction of hunger in the world. Adopt this idea.